Welcome back to Midnight Grappler Animals, home of Flub Nation. I'm your host, Land, and with me I've got two gamers, two comic readers, two critics, two one-time jurists, voters. Keigen, Guy, I need you to answer a question for me. And that question is, should the Game Awards still exist? And I'm gonna ask Guy later when he comes back.
Heard.
Heard? Holding space. Bro just left. Like, it's crazy.
Should they exist?
Bro literally left in the middle of it.
Should,
That's okay. This is like the perfect flub to start on. This really is like the perfect... Oh, okay. I mean...
no. Maybe he had to poop.
Maybe he had to poop. But that is the question for this episode. Should the Game Awards still exist? Because no matter the year, no matter how good the Game Awards actually were that year, doesn't matter if it was better than the year before, worse than the year before, the same as the year before, doesn't matter if everyone's favorite game got voted for Game of the Year. The question always gets asked, should the Game Awards still exist? Why are we still watching the Game Awards? And, as a fellow Torontonian who recently had to deal with his fair share of heckling on a game show or game-related thing. Yeah, that's right. I spent a whole year gathering information about things that happened that year to do a game show full of flubs just for the sake of this bit. As a fellow Torontonian, just like Jeff Keighley, I find myself wondering, why do you still do this? Why am I still doing this? Why are we all still doing this? So I'm asking you, Keigen, Guy, who's finally back.
Yeah.
Well, why do we need the Game Awards?
I guess the question there too is like, do we need award shows? Right? Like in general. Because why shouldn't gaming have its own when music, film, television, comics all have a major award ceremony, right?
It's the eighth art. So
yeah, why not?
Is it? I don't know. What is the eighth art?
I don't know. Guy, do you think we need Game Awards?
I think so. I think we don't need the awards, but we need the event, I think. Because we don't have it anymore.
What specifically about the event?
I think it's
like what specifically about the event? Because yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh.
Like, what about the event though?
What about the event? Because recent years, the big criticism is that very little of the Game Awards are actually about the awards. One of the streams that I was watching this year counted just how much of the Game Awards were actually about the awards, and I think it came out to 40 minutes for awards and then 2 hours and 15 minutes for stuff that wasn't awards. So taking that into consideration, what from the Game Awards do you think still should exist? I mean,
that's my thing is you look at the Oscars and they're not announcing movies. There's no movie trailers at the Oscars. It's celebrating the year of movies. And whether they do a good or bad job of that is variable, but it's not. You don't have E3 in the middle of Oscars. You don't have big announcements, or I guess it would be D23, right? That doesn't happen.
No, it absolutely, yeah. It would be. What's the other one? No, you don't have San Diego Comic-Con in the middle of the Oscars. There we go.
Well, see, that's kind of funny though, because you do have the Eisners in the middle of San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, so, exactly.
There's a little bit where this makes sense, I guess, for the Video Game Awards. You know what? I'm already tired of this though, because I have to keep saying we have to keep saying Video Game Awards. They need a cool name. That's the number one thing. What a boring name for
the Keeleys. We need to call them the Keeleys.
No, I hate I hate that.
No, I get it. I get it. The Ferrises, like Joseph Ferris. They should call it the Ferrises because he famously said the Oscars at the Game Awards.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So yeah, that's what they should call it.
And I mean, there are other forms of art that have award shows that are just giant jokes, right? Like, I mean, I think the Grammys are probably the worst if we're really really talking. There's just too much music to really honor everything, and then there's people who are just nominated every year out of like momentum. And then the Emmys are also kind of. I think the Emmys are also kind of a joke, especially because.
What do you mean? What do you mean the 2009 English Common Writer show that aired on the CW won an Emmy?
Oh, wow.
You're telling me this isn't? You're telling me this isn't a legitimate award show? Come on.
I mean, that is kind of cool. That's fun.
It is cool. It is cool. It absolutely is.
I do think the Emmys,
Golden Globes. No, that's not a legitimate enterprise.
But Golden Globes are also like a secondary thing, right? The Oscars are the real thing, and then Oscars and Emmys are the real thing, and then you have Golden Globes on the side that kind of get to do a less serious thing that still matters, I think. But
yeah, I mean, we have that for gaming too, right? Like there are the smaller shows that also happen around this time of the year, that also do like what the Game Awards do, like the Golden Joysticks is one. Something about Golden, I don't know.
I feel like that's a problem too, though. I mean, Golden Joysticks is a better title than Video Game Awards, but I feel like that's kind of a problem because I think everybody kind of agrees, like, yeah, the Emmys and the Oscars are the major ones to pay attention to. Golden Globes are cool. They definitely add. I mean, like, we're already seeing award ceremonies for film happening, right? For this year and things getting nominated and winning and stuff like that. But like, I feel like there isn't a consensus for video games, even in the way comics are, right? Like the Harveys are pretty big, but everybody basically agrees that Eisners are the real one.
Yeah, I mean, there's what are the alternatives? It's the Ignatzes.
Yeah,
Ringos.
Inkblot. Ringos.
The Inkblot, kinda, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think the big one really is the Harveys.
Yeah, the Harveys are the big competitor, and I mean, I think the Ringos are real, or thing, like
realer for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Game Awards were one of the big catalysts for this episode. Like the other one being that Keigen recently brought up the Beats top 50. Is it the 50 best comics of 2024? It's a yearly thing they do, but it is a similar thing where it's just like
end of the year lists.
End of the year lists. I think we've done end of the year lists before, right? Like we've all contributed to whether it's our own.
I did this year.
Damn, I thought you didn't. I thought you said during the.
No. I said I almost wanted to, but I just love doing it so much. That, like,
you did it for the love of the game.
All right, I'll do it, and I'll do one for comics. I think I have enough to do. Like I do it normal. I'll do it on Bluesky this year. I abandoned it last year, but this year I'll do it. It'll be a little bit shorter. But yeah, the beats piss me off.
You brought up something very interesting there where you said I have enough to make a list. Yeah. And I think that's an issue for me because like I'm logging my stuff on Backlogged, BACKLOGGD for those not in the know. It's like Letterboxd but for games. And they also do their like yearly game of the year, not really like awards, but just like you can nominate your own game of the year with like I think 4 or 5 categories. And this year, when I was going to put in my entries, it gives you stuff that came out this year. And I realized that I only played like 2 or 3 games that came out this year.
But you played like 70 games.
Yes. And I played like a lot of games this year. But apparently only 3 of those games actually came out this year. And I think I realized that, like, more than anything, the biggest issue that games and gaming has when it comes to, like voting for these things is they're definitely the hardest thing to have like a wide range. No, well, I mean, not just keep up with, but like when you're coming up with a short list, right? And you're trying to like figure out, okay, these are all the things that deserve to be nominated, and you're asking maybe like 3 people to, or you're asking a whole bunch of people to list like 3 or 4 things that they think deserve that, right? It's really hard to find people who have played everything that is nominated. And I think you can see that a lot in the games that do get nominated on a year-to-year basis. Like a lot of people do complain about like, you know, why did Shadow of the Erd Tree get nominated for Game of the Year? Side note, it was nominated because it's the third party in this 2-party system. It's the Green Party. It's the Libertarian Party of gaming. Sorry, where was I?
What?
Oh yeah, like why do games get nominated, right? And like who are the people that are nominating them? Reality is it's people that working in the industry that have to play like 52 games in a year and have to like move from game to game to game to game, putting out reviews and stuff. And usually they're not going to have time to get to absolutely everything, especially these like 100-hour behemoths like Final Fantasy Rebirth or even Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So yeah, I think gaming actually is like one of the hardest in terms of like, can you catch up to have a good idea of what deserves X award, right? Like with movies, the investment is not that difficult.
Yeah.
It's a 1 to 3 hour investment to watch one of these movies, and then you're done. You've got a good idea of like what to think about the movie going into the award season. Comics a bit less so. I think if we were to rank them, I don't know, how would you rank them? Like catching up on things. I would say like easiest to hardest.
Depends, though. Right, like I feel like comics have the biggest variety, especially because more and more of the average whatever person who wants to follow comics, you're adding more and more graphic novels and original graphic novels and children's stories that I don't actually want to read that are designed for like 15-year-old girls. More and more of those are becoming like important to read to be like a well-rounded person, like judging that stuff. But I think it varies, but like I think it's probably similar to movies still, though, just because single issue comics are still on all those lists. Like that's a 15-minute thing.
Yeah, it's so quick to read a comic.
Yeah, like maybe not a 300-page graphic memoir or whatever, but like
even a 300-page graphic memoir, like it's much quicker than what is considered a short game.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's definitely shorter than a game. Like I'd say it's probably comparable to movies.
Yeah, I mean it's like I would say it's the midpoint between movies and TV shows. Yeah, like I think TV shows also vary where it's like, since the average season nowadays is like 8 to 13 episodes, it is much easier than before, unless you're looking at like dramas or sitcoms.
Yeah, I mean now you have to watch Bluey, so
I don't know. Is Bluey like
gotta stay up on it,
Well, that also brings us to the other issue, or issue, quote unquote, with the Game Awards is like these other awards, like the Oscars, the Emmys, the Golden Globes, they all have voting committees, right? Like people that are dedicated to watching all of the documentaries that came out in a given year. People who are dedicated to watching all of the comedy shows that came out within a given year, right? I don't think the Game Awards has that. At least last I checked, they don't.
I think they do, but it's not like
they. You know what? They have it, but specifically for it's very funny. They have it for very specific categories, like the esports categories. All have their own voting committee, and then the accessibility category has its own voting committee, but then most every other category is like all at once, I guess.
So they're just woke.
Yeah, it makes sense because when I'm voting for the Game Awards, I don't know like which esport team is the best or which game had the best accessibility options because I don't use those. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, but my question is, do you think the Game Awards would benefit more from having like specific committees for, say, I don't know, best RPG or best action adventure? Like, what is best action game even? What is best game direction? Like, how do you get a voting committee to like quantify that?
I don't know. I don't know what's the difference between most of those categories because games can fit in multiple genres, being eligible for multiple awards, and at some point it's all meaningless, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if WWE should be a sports game. It's so weird to.
Wait, was that nominated?
To decide between EA
yeah,
Sports,
it was.
Like
EA Sports FC 25, F1 24, NBA 2K25, Top Spin 2K25. There's a tennis 2K game?
Yeah.
Holy shit, this is the first time hearing about this. And then WWE 2K24. It really is like the 2K category.
Yeah, and they were all bad games this year. So was it EAFC that won?
Yeah, it was EAFC that won.
Yeah,
unsurprisingly. Yeah,
but it's. I don't think the community, the people who play the game, liked it. So
I guess we can jump off that because the popularity element, right? Like the Game Awards have their own specific popularity vote, the Player's Voice Award, which this year it went to Black Myth Wukong. But all their other awards have a disparity of, I think it's like 90% for people in the industry and then 10% for fan vote, and that's how they calculate votes for each category. But that's not the case for the Beats Top 50 Comics of the Year, right? That's just a smorgasbord of the Beat contributors kind of just picking at not random, but like picking what they liked this year. Yeah. So I guess in that sense, it is more of a popularity contest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a best of list. You bring your best of stuff. In the AIPT one this year, I did pitch. What? Because it was first come first serve, and it always is. But in previous years, multiple people could contribute in the same category. So, like best writer, you could have multiple best writers. Which was like democratic, I guess, right? It's just like whatever, if you want to write something, write something. This year they were like, hey, claim one thing, and then at the end of the week, if there's anything left, claim other things. But we're only going to do one entry each to make it look more like decisive. Well, okay, but I was like, why don't we just like discuss it though? Why don't we talk about it and see if there is some kind of AIPT consensus on these things. But I think it's just too much work. These people editing these sites are putting out like, between 10 and 20 articles every day. And so it's just like, no, if we want, we could either have a smorgasbord, and just like everybody gets to contribute, or let's be more decisive and say like, these are what the site says are the best, yeah, I mean, it's a different thing than the Game Awards, but I think best of lists typically have an eye toward awards too, right? Like you're trying in some way you're trying to pick the Oscar winner on your letterbox, you're trying to pick whatever as you're making those lists, especially if you're publishing a list like that. That's part of what you're trying to do. So I don't know. They're related. They're not the same thing, though.
I think maybe the other way around. Like you expect your favorite movie to win the Oscar, but you don't put your prediction for the Oscar winner on your best of the year list, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, my question is, because the whole thing with the Oscars especially is like the legitimization factor, and the Game Awards too, right? Like the amount of people that go out to buy the Game of the Year after it's been awarded is huge. Like Astrobot sold out the day after it won the Game of the Year award this year. So I guess it is like a similar case where, you know, no matter what the award, there is that aspect of like, it's not just that I really like it, it's that people recognize that this has that cultural cachet, I guess. Which brings me to my question to you, Keigen. Why do you not like... What's your beef with the Beats 50 Best Comics of 2024?
I think I love end of year lists. I love hating end of year lists, and I love loving end of year lists. I love them. And like a lot of the time they're a good resource of like what are things to read, right? Like what things did I miss? And I will say we've been talking about the Beats a lot, but the Comic Book Herald one is guilty of all the same things that the Beats is. Slightly different because there was more methodology to Herald's, but like I also reading. So he only picked trades that were published this year. So it had to be a collected edition or a graphic novel. And like that makes it neater. That makes it like these things can stand next to the graphic novels that I read this year, kind of thing. But also like, and this is less true for him than before, but it is extremely true for me that like I am a single comic issue reader. You know, as much as I'm like, I would like to eliminate some of the garbage that I read and maybe read more things collected or more graphic novels during the year. It's like, I'm not gonna. It's too easy to download single issue comics and read them the week of or the week after, you know? So my problem with both of these lists, though, I mean, one, I think 50 is too many. Like, I do. You gotta cut some of that out. Because, like, as I'm going through them, I'm seeing things that I'm like, there's a better thing of this that's similar. You know, I've talked to you about Machinophobe, which I read Machinophobe. Machinophobe is a cool comic. I'm happy that book exists. But it's also, like, an extremely amateur work. And that's fine. It's fine to like that. But it's like, it's a Kickstarter book. Hard to get a hold of, I think, you know? And then on top of that, it's just like, there are other Kickstarter books that if you are in those circles where you are interested in Kickstarter books, there's better ones. There's like much better ones.
In that case, is it the legitimization factor for you then? Or it's just, this is taking a slot that you think this is taking up a slot that you think should be occupied by something else?
Yeah, it's more the latter than the former. Like I'm happy to see things like Machinophobe getting legitimized. Like get that in front of people. That's cool. Like that sales on an indie book are life changing. But like you're calling the thing best of, you know? And like that's where, you know, we'll talk about this more in the Good Asian Effect. But it's like, if I can identify things that are doing similar things as that book, but like doing them better, then I'm just kind of like, now I don't find your list legitimate. Basically, now I'm like, I don't care for this list.
Yeah, but like, what is a legitimate best of comics list, right? Like that's my thing.
A personal best of list, right?
Yeah.
The person saying these are the best for me. Isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not though, right? Because it's like this is the site's version of that, and
but the site, the site isn't an institution. Like to me, the site is not an institution. It's not the Eisners, right? Like I'm sure a lot of these books will end up in the Eisners next year, but at the end of the day, like the Beat is not the, or even, you know, Comic Book Herald or AIPT. Like these sites aren't the end all be all arbiters of what is good within a year.
Yeah.
Which is what just I guess that's why I am so like.
I like
I'm
having
scratching my
opinions on these
head.
things. I like having opinions on these things. That's why. That's the entire answer.
I'm
I
like
think there is
scratching
a
my
good
head
way.
here, wondering. I'm like, it's just a, an article.
Yeah,
No,
that
there's a
is
good way and a bad way. Okay, that's true. I don't know. It doesn't like. I don't know, because it's a sort of thing of splitting the difference between the personal and the institution, and I think that's my problem. There's like no bloggers anymore either, right? So like we don't have the personal, besides off microblogs on Bluesky or Twitter, of people being like, hey, these were my favorite things, but I do think I also think like these lists lead to trends of like, okay, this is clearly a thing that people are looking at and treating as an important and good thing that's going to lead to actual accolades, right? And again, I'm not even really. I'm complaining because I do think, like, there's no ethical issue or moral issue or anything here. Like, I just think it's similar to like the interesting but bad thing. It's like I want the personal take instead of the lazy. This is what all of the site contributors think. Take.
But how? I guess
I don't know.
My question is like, how do you get that in an era where no one's actually seeking out microblogs? Like, for as much as the Beat is not an institution, it is also like the place for people to amalgamate congregate and like give their takes on these things. Like, I'm not seeking out any of these individual writers' best of lists, right? But this is an opportunity for me to like hear individual takes on why they think this is their best comic of the year, or like why they think this comic deserves to be read by a lot of people. Which also brings me to my next point, which is like the actual selection here, and this goes back to the Game Awards side of things too, where it's like what gets to be selected for these lists, what deserves to be selected for these lists, and in the cases of more obscure comics, more obscure games, what does it mean to have those show up on these lists?
Yeah, I mean, and I think that is one of the big points of the list, and that's why I'm not. Machinophobe is my example of a thing that I don't understand how that becomes one of the best 50 comics in someone's opinion, but I understand why you put it on that list. Right. I think the Beats list, if anything, is way too leaning toward mainstream works. Like, there's absolutely 0% chance that Cobra Commander is one of the top 50 books of the year. Like,
but okay, so to push, I'm not gonna push back, but like,
I mean, that could be one of that person's favorites, right?
Yeah, but like my thing is like, does that say anything of the Beats contributors, or does that say something about the state of the industry right now? Because we were talking about this for a completely other, a complete different topic.
Yeah.
Like the pendulum swing, as you called it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, and I do think that like my problem is I could probably name 50 comics that I read from this year that if I decided to read Cobra Commander, 50 comics were better than that book. And so
how do you know that?
The weird thing to me.
How do you know that for sure, though?
I don't,
because you haven't read Cobra Commander.
But I like Peace and Love. Exactly. That's why it's vibes. Okay, it's vibes. And like. I just don't see how I don't see how an editor looks at a list that has those two things and goes, yep, that makes sense. It makes more sense if it was 5 separate mini lists to me. And so, in other words, like, I don't think the pendulum has swung in a qualitative way that says these things are what's good. That's a reader thing to me. Like, that's that person preferred that book a lot and thought it was really good, and that's cool. I don't think that actually says anything about the industry. to me, what like the real trend, I guess, well, I'll talk about this more in depth in another episode, but the real trend is like real writers and artists moving back toward the big two or corporate owned stuff, right? Like 20th Century Men owned critics, just absolutely, like, it's in the palm of the hand, right? That dude, Denny's Camp, moving over into Ultimates, dragged a legitimacy to that book that even if the book wasn't as good as it is, and it is a very good book, that book was going to be talked about as important immediately, right? And because it's good, it's given that legitimacy.
It's like when an Oscar winner goes to work on their next, their next big movie or whatever, right?
Yeah, like Robert Downey Jr. on Avengers.
But like,
yeah, or Robert Downey Jr. in Doctor Dolittle, or sorry, Just Dolittle. But
like, it's also good, right? And that's the real key to the Ultimates, I think. It's the same thing with Ultimate Spider-Man, though, right? I mean, Hickman, as much as Hickman's been back at the big two for a while, but him making a good Spider-Man book elevates that book. Snyder coming back for Batman, same thing. We go back a little bit further, but Daniel Warren Johnson on Transformers is the exact same thing. Even Aaron on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I've seen that on lists. Shouldn't be, but damn. I've seen it on lists. And it was the same thing. They took a little break from corporate, whatever, or they kind of bounced around, and then they bring whatever their thing is to a new corporate thing, and it gives it a boost. And that's what I think the pendulum swing is. That I think some of these guys have earned enough of a name now that we're bringing critics over. This is a thing that's popular, and it's also like cool to like. I think Ramon Detective is a similar situation. Again, we're going back a couple years, but it's like all part of the same wave that's happened all at the same time, where now it's almost like those tastemaker books aren't little indie fare anymore. The tastemakers get to point to Batman and say, look at what's being done, or Ultimates or whatever.
My question though is like, what does that mean for best of the year lists? Or like, is that a negative effect? Is that a positive effect? Is that a neutral effect? Like, why does that matter, I guess?
Yeah. I think it means we get a lot more mainstream stuff on them. Like,
right,
really.
But like, why does that matter? Right? Like, why does it matter that Cobra Commander is on this best?
Lists look weird.
Yeah. You don't think people are entitled to their dumb opinions?
Never. No. No, I mean, it really is just that, though. Like, lists look different. An Avengers book is one of the top 5 books of the year. A Spider-Man book is top 2, number 1. A Batman book is top 3. Like, on a legitimate critics list, that's what it looks like. And it's weird. It's weird to not have The Good Asian as number 1. Like, I mean,
the same could be said of Game of the Year, though, right? Like, when you're looking at, maybe not even necessarily this year, but like previous years, let's look at, I'm trying to find a bad year. 2019. Let's see how bad 2019 was. 2019 had Sekiro, Control, Death Stranding, The Outer Worlds, Resident Evil 2, Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's not that bad, actually. I feel like 2020.
Like Sekiro won, right?
Yeah, Sekiro did win, yeah.
Yeah.
2020 definitely has to be a 2020 definitely has to be the one, though. So 2020's Game of the Year. Last of Us Part 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and Hades. And Last of Us 2 won that year. In this like category, I would say that
was like Batman.
Aside from maybe Hades, everything else here is like a big 2 comic.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I think that's particularly weird in comics, though, where it's very, very easy for an indie book to, especially in awards, go toe to toe with popular books.
Yeah, you don't have budget. It's just skill of
Yeah,
whoever's making it.
and that's why like this is a pendulum swing moment, and it happens often in comics. I think it if anything, the long streak of like highly celebrated, highly successful uh, um, creator-owned books was always going to end. This year just looks particularly different because even like the last big corporate winner of things was Transformers, right? That's still a huge, like ridiculous property. That's like worth a ton of money and like made sense that it was successful, but like it was being helmed by Daniel Warren Johnson, and that's still weird that like the swing happened that way, but it was still at Image, you could still kind of fudge everything and be like he wasn't he's mainstream, but he was still like indie mainstream. Versus now, it's like just based off of best of list, based on hype and everything like that, is very real possibility that it's like the nominees are Ultimate Spider-Man, Absolute Batman, Ultimates, like, and that's just weird. It is like it's atypical. It's less typical for comics, I feel.
Yeah, but is it the same people making the bad lists as the previous good ones, you think? Or is it just people with different opinions?
Oh no, absolutely true. Yeah. The same people have been making these lists for like 5 years. There's a couple names that drop off and new names that jump on, but yeah, it's definitely the same people. Which is also where it's like the trend of the industry changed, and that's how you see that is that it's these same people are doing it, right?
I mean, it's a similar situation for gaming too, where it's like a lot of these people. Well, in the case of gaming, it's also like these people that write for these legitimate sites no longer work at those sites because those sites shuttered, right? Mm-hmm. Like they got shut down or they got laid off. So our pool of people to like grab from is much smaller. With comics, since a lot of it is like a pseudo industry, I think as we called it in the past, it's much easier for the same people to stick around. Which I don't know, is that a hegemony at that point? Like is the Beats top 50 comics of 2024? I keep saying the title wrong. It's not even the top 20. There's not even a top in the title. Is that endemic of a hegemony of tastemakers, of opinion makers in comics?
Sure, man. Yeah.
Is that because like that's what it sounds like to me. Like when you're saying that, that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I think that's fair. And like, there's not blogs either, right? So you don't get the personal, the personal opinion either. Like you do obviously in the little 200 word bits about them. But and I guess Comic Book Herald is that, right? All 50 of his picks are Dave's. So there's that. But like, yeah, I mean that's true, but it's not that these people are holding positions either, though, right? It's because nobody else wants to do it. Like you look at damn, I can't remember. Shelf Dust Steve. He I think a week ago or something recently, he's doing a whole series on Jimmy Olsen, right? 12 issues. And he's like, a couple people backed out. I am looking first for women, I think women contributors specifically. And like, that's I don't even know how many times he asked for that in a year, though, and I don't know how many times he accomplishes that either. But it's not like somebody who's available that he reaches out to necessarily. And maybe that happens and they decline or whatever, and then he goes to the public. But it's just like nobody is there's been a huge exodus, and it was because there was a huge inflation of it with COVID, with everybody being home, and then just a huge shrinkage.
Yeah, I guess a lot of this is also just like endemic of where comics is at, like as a culture, like not just the industry itself, but like the people writing about it, how long before the best of lists are written by Twitter users, like the popular comic influencers of Twitter?
Yeah, what's the difference?
Yeah, what is the difference?
Yeah, there's not. It already is that. Like, realistically.
It's always been that.
Yeah, it has for years. They're like they're just more structured blogs. Like that's all of these things are. For a lot of contributors, they're just a free ticket to a con once or twice a year.
Yeah. So let's think of a hypothetical here. What if there was an institution for these things? You know, because again, these sites are at best pseudo institutions. What if there was like an institution for comics, the way there is for like the way that there is the Academy for the Oscars?
I mean, that's cool. I don't know.
like every time everything is like, yeah, I guess.
I mean, does it turn into like? Because like the thing is, I don't think the Eisners do I think that Eisners they do as good a job as the major award ceremonies. You know, I think the Oscars make terrible calls every other year, and they make fine calls every year. You know, and I think the Eisners are similar, where most of the time I see what's been nominated, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It's stupid sometimes every other year, and every other year it's like, oh yeah, there's a glaring miss. You know, they gave good old Eddie Piscor the posthumous Eisner and stuff like that. So they're corny, but all the award shows are. So I don't know. Like I don't know if an institution for that would make it better. I don't know if there would be any material change really.
See, every question being asked in this episode feels like a gambit for what is like the actual question is like, why does it matter? Why does any of these matter? Why do award shows matter?
I still don't understand what your problem at least is. I don't understand. Like
why does it matter?
You have no idea what a better list would be or what the solutions.
Yeah, like I guess that is the real big question is like, what would you do to improve things?
Oh, I mean, my genuine answer is I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay, I don't know what it is, but
this episode secretly, believe it or not, guys, this episode is actually not about whether or not game award shows should exist. It's about how we can pathologize Keigen's neuroses.
Yeah. No, so it's like when I see people expressing an opinion, I give credence to it immediately. And I shouldn't, but like these lists are a concrete thing that exists that is saying something about these books, right? And so it's like I know these lists don't actually say anything qualitatively, but I do want these things to say, like, I want them to be more personal. I do, and I would rather.
Yeah, but how do you quantify that? Like, how do you quantify that? Because like a lot of these paragraphs, for as well written or as poorly written as they are the person talking, you know, even if it is some millennial talking about how much he can relate to I don't know, Ultimate Peter Parker and Ultimate Mary Jane being married, right? Like that is still a personal connection to the comic, for as cringy as it is.
Yeah, I think
Cobra Commander was my favorite comic of the year.
I mean, okay, shouts.
Guy, you read comics this year?
Read better comics.
I read manga.
He reads One Piece.
He read One Piece.
Yeah.
Oh, he read. Yeah. Did you catch up to Hunter x Hunter? I mean, did you reread Hunter x Hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not me. But
I just feel bad for whoever did write that Cobra Commander paragraph now.
I don't. Read better comics.
On this poor,
if you listen to this, read better comics. Like
this poor contributor.
Is it different if I read like only Cobra Commander, that was my favorite comic, or if I read like 1,000 comics and that was still my favorite comic?
Yeah, no, the latter definitely matters. Like for sure, right? Like I mean,
how
I don't
much you
think
read it, like how many things you
I'd
engage
like,
with.
yeah, right. I mean, I guess if you're saying like this was my favorite comic of the year and it's the only one I read, then it's like, okay, well, cool, thanks for sharing. But if you're saying like this is the best comic of the year, this is one of the 50 best comics of the year, and you don't say like I only read this, I think that's really funny. But I don't know. I don't even think I feel comfortable weighing in on music.
So to you, it's the fact that it's like the best of a plethora of things that they read, rather than
the same. This is always just it's the same conversation. It's the fake not credence. What's the word? Like authority. It's the false authority of it that bothers me. But no, that's it. Like
yeah, but like who's the authority? Like what is the authoritative factor here?
There's not. Like if you actually think about it, right? That's what I'm saying. Like if I actually think about it, I'm like, there's no authority here. These are jokes. Like these are nothing. These are just a bunch of people's things. But it's like there is authority there, and different people do wield that authority, right? And that's why Cobra Commando is an easy one to pick on. But I could just as easily pick on everybody saying Wonder Woman's the best book of the year, right? Like I don't think you're right. So
okay, but what if it was someone whose opinion you do respect saying that? Because like you said that, you know, you actually going back a bit, you said you wanted to reel back from the instinct to trust these people, to trust the credence of their opinion. What if it is someone whose opinion you do respect going, wow, Wonder Woman was my comic of the year, or I don't know, Astrobot. Like when Guy says Astrobot is maybe my comic of the year, you know, like, do you agree with that? Like, do you like, well, what makes Guy what makes Guy the arbiter of taste?
If Guy says Astrobot's the game of the year, I believe him because I like him and I think he's right. But
so my question is like, how do you like the credence that you're giving him, the trust that you're putting in his opinion, that he's making a solid judgment here. How do you translate that to an award show, to a best of the year list? You know, does that involve you cultivating that sort of like almost parasocial relationship even with the people that are writing these paragraphs, or, you know?
I don't know, right? I recognize some of the names, and in that way I know which ones I
steer away from.
Necessarily give that authority, right? Like I know you don't get that authority.
We don't need to name names. We don't need to name. We know. I know what you're talking about.
But like, I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, looking at those lists is a different thing than a friend going, "Hey, this is sick," right? Like that is a different thing, and that's also why, like, I mean, that's also why I best of lists work for me and they don't, you know? Like I like to read them and I like to see things. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff I grabbed from TBH Dave's list because this was like, you know what, he has fairly good taste, you know, he's cool. Yeah, I'll try things out. But you know,
I guess that's my other take on the Beats top 50 best comics of 2024
there we go.
list. Nope, that's still not the right title. That's still not the right title. Is that there are a lot of books here that I haven't ever heard of, right? That, you know, going off of what the person's saying about them, going off just even the way that the cover looks in these like preview images, I'm like, maybe I should check this out. And I think I wonder if that is what we actually need instead of an awards show, or, you know, like a best of thing, is like, here are things that we think that you should check out, right? Like it is like the tastemakers grab bag thing. It's not even like this is the best thing, but like, you know, not enough people put eyes on this thing. I think you should put your eyes on this thing. Because I think in terms of indie stuff especially, I think that's a make or break moment for a lot of these things, right? Like the smaller indies just getting nominated for an award adds it's not just the legitimacy of it, but it's also just like the people are starting to notice you, right? Like,
Yeah.
Think of how many games you've never heard of that were nominated this year for the Game Awards, or comics that you never heard of that are showing up on these lists, right? There's that intuition, I guess, to like want to check them out, or at least put them on your backlog.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean they're a good tool for that. Do they just kind of end up working as like holiday buying or holiday reading guides? Yeah. But like that's their function. That's cool.
Yeah. So maybe what we should do is replace the Game Awards with the things we think you should check out awards, which is a much better title.
Better than the Game Awards.
Things Jeff Keighley says you think you should check out.
No, never mind. Go back. I liked it better.
The Keighleys. No matter what, it's going to come back to the Keighleys.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Small man. Are you taller than him, Guy?
Guy definitely has to be.
What?
Right? How tall is Jeff Keighley?
How tall is Jeff Keighley and how tall is Guy?
Jeff Keighley height. He's pretty tall, I will say. I feel like
I thought he was the short guy on the stage.
No, that's Todd Howard.
That's Todd Howard.
Oh.
That's Todd Howard. Sorry. I almost typed in Jeff Keighley Healy.
He's taller than me, I think.
He is taller than Kojima.
Oh. Okay.
But he's not as tall as Joel McHale.
Okay, he's pretty tall. I think he's 6'2".
But he's only like a smidge taller than Todd Howard.
What?
And he's shorter than Elon Musk. And he's shorter than Chris Judge.
This sounds like a word problem.
It's like a riddle. This guy is shorter.
I'm like
shorter
2
than
centimeters taller than Todd Howard.
Yeah. I need more pictures of him standing next to people to see just how tall he is. Oh wow! What were we talking about?
The incredible Game Awards that
yes, the incredible Game Awards
award show ever.
Yeah. Guy, what's your take on the Game Awards? Because you dipped out when I asked you at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, you fled.
You fled.
Yeah, no, I don't think the awards part is like super relevant or particularly interesting. I think the event like is okay. It's cool to have everyone watching something at the same time. Like I think it's just because I'm E3. But I don't know. I think it's an entertaining enough event, and the awards are like a small part of it, and they don't really matter. But they don't even pretend to matter. So, like people say that they are advertising the products that they are awarding later. And I don't know. I think it's totally different from the Oscars showing a trailer for a movie that hasn't come out yet. I don't know. I feel like there's more, like I don't know. At some point, video game is less artsy than like the Game Awards is not trying to pretend video games are art.
Yeah, it's not the 10th.
And it sucks. Like it sucks. That sucks. But I won't judge for something they are. I won't judge the award for something they are not trying to do. Maybe they should, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd happily be death to all Game Award or all award ceremonies. You know, I do think. I mean, a lot of not even normies one step above normies use all the awards as their backlog, right? And like those people would miss out on that as a thing. But I mean, that's the only change, I think.
Yeah. But again, if you can replace it with like recommendation lists.
Yeah, but I understand what in some way what Keigen was saying, because I hate award season. Because I would my opinion validate it, and I don't want like
Yeah.
whatever the fuck the committee thinks is the best game or the like popular vote.
Fableman's won. Okay? Fableman's won.
It did though, right? It did.
Well, Fableman's is my movie of the decade, so
it didn't win. That's
what
I'm saying. No.
Oh right,
that?
It didn't. Yeah, you're right. It didn't win.
That was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I forgot that was the same year. God damn.
Yeah.
You know, if you believe it enough, if you can headcanon it enough, it did win.
Yeah.
So
if you believe
everything in this episode has just been, if you can create a tulpa and believe in it hard enough, it can be real. We've recreated the Department of Truth in the aggregate.
We did it.
We did it. The bottom line: believe in yourself. Believe in your own opinion for your own validation and legitimization.
Yeah, I just think that someone writing the best of the year list is totally different than an awards.
Yeah, they are different things, for sure.
Yeah, you I don't know if you know they are different. Is the thing?
I do know they're different. I do know they're different.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
There's a different legitimacy led to both. Okay.
Yeah, but you
like more of a lie.
The only reason we're talking about the Beats top 50 comics of the year 2024
is because it was bad.
No, it's because you thought it was bad. You thought it was bad in the way that people you spoke you spoke about it in the way that people speak about the Game Awards, and that's even why I made the connection in the first place. It's like you had like a multiple skeet thread on Bluesky about like just how bad the list was, and I was like, damn, this is no different than someone going off about Astrobot winning Game of the Year for the Game Awards.
I don't like it. Okay. I don't need more. I don't need more validation of myself than that.
What does it take to satiate you? What does it take to satisfy you?
Oh, it's just me making a list.
It's just you making a list.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is the perfect this entire episode is the perfect segue for a Tastemaker's grab bag. You know, if you think about it. Yeah, because this is our best of whatever, best of this week. You know, the best of things that we engaged with over the past week or two. I guess we'll close things out then before we get to that. Any final thoughts?
No.
You don't understand what Keigen's mad about, but I'm sure.
I don't know either. There's a lot of comics. There's a whole lot of comics on this list where I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will check this out in 2026.
Yeah.
You know,
I think CBH's is better, but and I did get a lot of stuff off of his. I'll probably buy something off of his actually.
You'll use that Amazon affiliate link?
Maybe. I don't know. For him, you know.
Just for him. Toss him a $1. Yes. Well, thank you for tuning in for another special. We did roll this on the wheel, by the way, before this episode. It was on the wheel. It was a late edition.
Land when he lies.
No, listen, this episode's coming out in 2025, a year where we did say our thing would be lying. So
I said that at 104. So if it stays in, know that Land made a choice.
I mean, listen, what I won't lie about is how grateful I am for the people that contribute to our Patreon at patreon.com/Midnight Grappler Animals. They're the reason the show even keeps going on. If we had like 0 subscribers on Patreon, I'd probably just quit. Not to say that people should do that. If you are a Patreon subscriber, please stay subscribed. There's more stuff on the way. But yes, If you're not subscribed, you should join. $2 a month gets you uncensored episodes a week earlier than the public. $5 gets you a lot of bonus content, exclusive access to an exclusive channel in our Discord server. And if you can't do that, please give us a good review on your podcast app of choice. Only a good one. Tell us how much we changed your lives. Tell us how much we changed your opinion on award shows. And then if you have any other questions, comments, or suggestions for the show, you can email us at midnightgrappleranimals@gmail.com. If you want to find the links to our Discord server as well as our Bluesky pages, you can find that in the description of this episode. Finally, the thing that we have been building up to this entire episode, the way this will legitimize us three as hosts of this episode. What are our Tastemakers grab bag entries for this episode? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I think I only have one. Trying to think if I. You know what? Yeah, I have two. I have two. And these other ones are a little bit stupid. So I posted that I bought 3 different versions of Batman and Robin Year One, number 1, because I love Chris Samnee's art, and that finally made me read the black and white, the noir edition that I had gotten. And so I read the noir editions of that and Absolute Batman, and it's just like black and white comics rule. Samnee, like, if you haven't read or like, please don't purchase things multiple times like me. But if you can read the black and white edition of Batman and Robin Year One, number 1, it's so good. It's like, it's already complete. It's already a whole thing before it's ever colored. Just really, really great. And then same thing for Absolute Batman for Dragata. Like, you don't have to read even the dialogue. Just like look at the perfect pictures. It's very, very good. And my other is going to be the movie Conclave, now on Peacock. Really good. I watched it last night, and very, very enjoyable. The Venus is just the saddest man ever. It's incredible. Like, very, very fun movie to watch. Funny in a lot of like weird ways. Just good movie. Absolutely, like one of my favorites this year, even though I haven't read a lot. I mean, I haven't watched a lot yet. Real good though. Conclave.
Wow, those picks sucked. I hated them. Yeah. They were bad picks, and they've completely delegitimized everything that you said over the past hour, Keigen. Guy, whose opinion I trust way more. What's your Tastemakers grab bag pick tonight? Today. Sorry, it doesn't matter.
I'm going to recommend everyone to go check the best comics of the year list.
I've already clicked on it so many times. Okay, they've gotten a lot of clicks from different computers.
Very good list.
Yeah.
But indeed, my opinions on Cobra Commander.
Guy who says he really hates list has read it multiple times on multiple different machines, giving it multiple different kinds of ad revenue.
I have read I've looked at, I don't read many of the entries. I have looked at every single one since 2016 though. So they're just like, what is happening? This is some weird traffic.
See, this really does make you the Game Awards equivalent.
It's not to complain though. The reason I was looking at the other ones was for data.
Don't read the description.
Oh, I mean, for the other years, it was just for data collection. I'm just looking at what's included.
Okay.
For other things.
What other recommendations you got, Guy?
No, that's it.
I just finished. Yeah, that's it.
That's it? There's no way.
No. I've just finished the new Indiana Jones game, and it's a fine game. good game even.
Okay, I'll check that
Too
out.
many collectibles.
I'll check that out in 2028. I'm sure it'll be great by then.
Yeah, could be on the Game of the Year list, but it's not the best Game of the Year.
It's like number 11.
You know, I forgot to mention this during the actual episode. I feel like I think I'm just about ready to vote for Game of the Year 2017. Just because by the time I'm ready to vote, by the time I'm actually ready to vote on Game of the Year 2024, it'll probably be like 2029. You know, that's when I finally finish Metaphor, and I'm like, all right, guys, I'm ready. I'm ready to cast my vote.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Game of the Year should be in February, but
just like the Oscars. Yeah, but we don't want to overshadow the Oscars like that, you know.
Yeah.
150 million viewers. That's
150 million
Super
viewers.
Bowl. That's Super Bowl.
That's more
numbers.
than Super Bowl. That's more than Super Bowl.
What was the last Super Bowl?
In that list that I sent this morning, the highest or the most viewed Super Bowl was Super Bowl, like last year's Super Bowl, and it was 123 million viewers, which is 25 million less people watching than were watching the Game Awards. So
that's crazy.
Suck on that, Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, actually, yeah. He can't. Just whatever, man. I hope that high ankle sprain was.
It was definitely worth it.
I'm not leaving anything in for you to. I hope that high ankle sprain was. And another thing. And that's what I think about that.
Damn. My pick.
I've been the N-word though.
Oh, good. Thank God. Thank God. You clarified that. Okay, so for my pick for this week, stuff that I've been slowly catching up on 2024 releases, by which I mean I've been trying to watch stuff on Mubi before I cancel my Mubi subscription again. And I watched The People's Joker this week.
Oh, I still haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's not the thing that I'm going to recommend. I'm actually going to recommend The Substance.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I watched The Substance. The Substance was cool. Good. It was fun. It was, yeah. I'm
excited to watch it.
I'm surprised. Like, I was scared that it was getting overhyped, but it was, like, very perfectly hyped for me. Like, it was the right amount of hype.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's been hyped so much as I, like, just genuinely, I know the concept and I know a little bit to the point that I'm annoyed, but not enough that I'm like, okay, I don't feel like anybody's saying that this is an incredible film. I just feel like it's something.
It's not this year's The Good Asian, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So The Substance, I'm sure everyone listening to this podcast has probably heard of it, or at least been told, or at least has been told to watch it by now. But if you haven't, you know, go watch it. It's worth the time. It's worth the 2 hours I spent watching that. I don't know if I could say the same about The People's Joker. I commend The People's Joker. You know, I'm glad that it exists. I'm glad that people can make art like that. You know, I commend its effort.
That's so mean.
It's not. You know what? Read my Letterboxd review of it, which I haven't written by the time.
That's good.
I'm sure that by the time the episode comes out, I will have written it, and people will be like, "Wait, that's not as bad as he makes it out to be."
In the show notes.
I'll put it in the show notes, and people will be like, "Wait a second, this guy overhyped his own review. This has affected his air of legitimacy in my eyes. I can no longer take his Tastemaker's grab bag suggestions seriously."
I feel like that's already true because we have a podcast. But I think that is immediately grounds.
Real talk though, like, who listening to this podcast is actually like, damn, I'm going to check out the things that Keigen tells me to check out. I'm going to check out...
Yeah, I'm going to watch the NBA because Keigen came to shut up about it.
Watch basketball. You know what? I was upset. I didn't even get to watch the Emirates Cup yesterday because it was on ABC and League Pass is a joke.
Damn. Well,
So
this has been an episode. It has been a complete mess of an episode. Honestly, like I think one of the great boons of stacking up all these episodes and like forcing ourselves to record like 12 episodes within a couple weeks, great material for flubs. I think that this is like the most flub laden series of episodes we'll be putting out. So
Flub Nation for real.
Flub Nation for real. Flub Nation
those
for real.
guys.
Yeah, all that ridicule. Can you believe it? It was actually all part of my grand plan all along. All that ridicule. I'm sure Jeff Keighley's thinking the same thing right now. And he's like, Statler and Waldorf, that was all planned from the very beginning. 10 years of prep just to get that one Statler and Waldorf ribbon. Yeah. Well, if you've stuck around and entertained this chicanery for this long, thank you for listening. And as always,
Keep on grappling.
Keep on grappling.
it was him. He did it. Him and his, I don't remember the chicanery copy pasta. God damn it. Yet another flub. Yet another flub.
We respect you more for it.
Thank you. Thank you.